Today is finally the day my book, In the Algorithm We Trust, is released to the world. A political satire set in a near-future America where artificial intelligence has taken over all of America. And it has been given the role of creating for every person their perfect life. But for each person to continuously earn this perfect life, they must prove their loyalty to the algorithm and its creator, Lamar T, Haddington, who has now become the president of the United States. This story is an examination of indoctrination in the modern world, where data surveillance and artificial intelligence has completely gotten out of control. But today what I really want to focus on is how this book came to be. Because the journey to today to publication was not an easy one. In fact, the road started in late 2019 when I first opened up the Scrivener project called In the Algorithm We Trust. At the time, I had no idea what this story was really going to be about. All I knew was that there was this all-powerful algorithm that was created to perfect each person's life. And in doing so, every person was sacrificing their autonomy, which is something that I saw very much in the world in 2019 and even more so today, where we are constantly giving our data away for free, which algorithms then use to curate what they believe we want to see, which in turn becomes our reality, the way that we perceive the world. But in the middle of 2020, the world came to a stop. First it was COVID, and then it was the Black Lives Matter movement. And that time period halted my work on In the Algorithm We Trust as I turned my attention to this collection, America 20, where in the introduction I briefly mention a book that I have been working on, where I say, I have spent the last year and some months working on a novel. It is a satirical sci-fi novel about America, making metaphors of all of America's very real issues. But right now it does not feel like an appropriate time to write metaphors about America falling apart when America is falling apart in real life and needs no metaphors. After self-publishing this collection, I got back to work on In the Algorithm We Trust. And in May of 2022, I sent out my first copy of In the Algorithm We Trust to beta readers, where I then used the feedback I received to continue to rework In the Algorithm We Trust. After working on the book for another year or so, I sent the manuscript out to over 100 literary agents. And each of those agents responded with the same answer: no. And so it was then that I decided I needed to try something new. And so I decided to start making videos on TikTok, where for the most part I just shared my poetry from my 3 collections. And as I slowly started to build a following, I decided that I wanted to try one last time at literature. But instead of writing a whole new book, I decided to try short stories. And so I came up with my collection, It Was Just Another Day in America, a collection of both dystopian short stories and poems, because I was still afraid of committing purely to literature. But again, even in this book, I mentioned In the Algorithm We Trust, in the introduction, where I talk about how I see my self-published books as mixtapes. Those mixtapes being For Souls Like Mine, Pretending to Try to Be Okay, America 20, and Now It Was Just Another Day in America. But at the end of that introduction, I wrote, an album is coming. A novel that I have been working on for years. It is called In the Algorithm We Trust. Now, when it came to my first 3 books, I sold less than 200 copies. But when it came to It Was Just Another Day in America, I sold thousands. And it gave me the confidence to continue. And so I decided to write even more short stories in The Crumbling of a Nation and Other Stories. And at the end of this collection, I included the first 3 chapters of In the Algorithm We Trust. And the reception that I received from those 3 chapters alone were overwhelmingly positive. And it was because of those positive words that I decided I no longer needed the validation from a literary agent or traditional publishing to be able to publish In the Algorithm We Trust. And so in February of this year, I decided I was going to self-publish it myself. And I was only able to gain that confidence because thousands of people were willing to try my work, to support my art, to show me that I didn't need to rely on traditional publishing to be able to put my work out into the world. And so, like I said, in early February, I reached out to my first editor. An editor who happens to be an author that I am a huge fan of. And so from February to November, I was able to hire 3 different editors, all of whom had worked with the big 5 publishing companies, as well as the wonderful artist from The Book Designer. Because even though I knew I was self-publishing this book, I wanted to give it the same treatment that any traditionally published book would receive. And overall, I invested more money in this one book than I invested in these 5 books alone. And that is what brings us here to today, to November 11th, to the day In the Algorithm We Trust officially goes out into the world. After 6 long years of writing and thousands of dollars invested, I am officially done with the mixtapes. My album is here. My debut novel. Nor does the journey end here. For the last 6 years, this book lived only with me. But starting today, this book can live with you and anyone else in the world who would like to read it. And hopefully that journey will continue for many years to come. Thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in getting your own book, all the links that you need are in the description below. And if you would like to find out more about my writing journey, make sure to hit subscribe.